Colby versus Kamaru. Oh my goodness, guys! I want to try to bring to you the experience from the live audience, okay? And maybe you could feel this through your television, but if you couldn't, you have to know what this arena was like. And it was split right down the middle, regardless what he says. And I will fully admit that Kamaru Usman got a lot more cheers than Colby, but I'm talking energy. I'm talking about the size and the loudness of the reception when Colby Covington came walking into that arena was deafening. And the same goes for Kamaru, but there was an energy in this building, and people came out to see a good old-fashioned fist fight. And this fight got dirty fast. I mean, we had low blows going where the fight's getting stuck. We got eye pokes that are getting the referee involved both ways. Okay, this was a dirty, gritty, grimy fight leading into this contest. Two questions. And these guys, I mean, they just cancel each other out on paper. They got the exact same records of 15-1. The opponent that Colby lost to, Kamaru beat. The opponent that Kamaru lost to, Colby beat. I mean, this thing's a mess, right? An All-American wrestler, national champion, the interim champion, the undisputed champion. Everywhere you look, it's a tie. They get thrown out of the palm. They both get banned from the palms. Not one guy got. I mean, anywhere you want to look, this thing is just so close. So Kamaru gets all these compliments for his pace and his condition, which has separated himself from the pack. But Colby Covington gets those same compliments, which has separated Colby from the rest of the division. Kamaru has been able to out-wrestle any opponent he's ever had, highlighted by his championship win over Tyron Woodley, where everybody goes, whoa, this guy can really wrestle with anybody. Colby's had the exact same experience in there. Gets on top of anybody that he wants to, ends up on the bottom of absolutely nobody. This thing's a wash. We thought, us, here in the community over here at YouTube, we thought, okay, they both got a great pace and they both have great wrestling, but one of them's pace is better and one of them's wrestling is better, and we're going to find out who it is. And whoever that is going to leave with their hand raised. Well, not so fast. I'm not sure we answered either question. First off, on the pace, nobody ever backed down. This was a back and forth battle to the highest of levels, okay? The judges' scorecards as it comes in for the very fifth round, one judge has it 3-1 Kamaru, which I would not disagree with. It was that close and hard to judge. One judge has it 3-1 Covington, which I would not disagree with. It was that close. One judge has it 2-2. Okay, great. Let's go with that judge. It's all into the fifth round. And there was a feeling for me watching this thing live. It was much like watching Gastelum versus Adesanya. Okay, as the viewer, you know this fifth round's important. And you don't quite know how important it is because you don't have the judges' scorecard. But you know this fifth round matters. Oh, and it seems, by the way, like they've been fighting each other for 3 days. I mean, this was just the contest that would never end. Now, that's to cover the pacing. Hold that thought. We also wanted to know who the better wrestler was. Guys, we never even got... Somewhere they respected each other, and it wasn't because there was some grappling exchange and they both felt the other one's strengths or reactions and thought, okay, let's stay away from that. They never did. There was no grappling exchange. This was a straight-up dogfight. This was a kickboxing, Muay Thai, poke you in the eye, kick you in the nose. Anything goes. Fight. Broke out in Las Vegas in a steel cage earlier tonight. I mean, that's just what happened. So they get into the fifth round. It's a very important round. And Usman did prove his point in the fifth round. I mean, he was able to connect and he was able to take Colby off his feet. Now, Colby proved his point of, I ain't letting this thing go. I am not letting this thing go without a fight, because he rolls all around and springs right back up to his feet to let the referee know we're not done just yet. By the way, I should add, it was revealed for the viewing audience. After the third round, prior to the fourth and fifth rounds, Colby tells his corner, my jaw is broken. So now that he's going out there with a broken jaw, and the whole world, everybody in the world knows this except for Kamaru Usman. I mean, the respect of what Colby had to endure, the respect and toughness of Colby Covington now goes through the roof. There's just no way to question it. And the same thing goes back to Kamaru Usman, his ability to finish a fight, Kamaru Usman's ability to recompose and to reset himself. Never think about what's already happened and not worry about what potentially could happen, but to live in the moment. It's a very visible thing. And before each round, just by example, before every single round, as the referee's looking across at Kamaru and he's looking at Colby before he brings them together and says fight, Kamaru would do the same body language. He would lean forward, he'd roll his shoulders out, he'd be bent over a little bit. But this is what we call a signal. He's signaling to himself, reset. We have a new moment here. So he resets and he has a new moment. And I was just watching this happen. I watched him reset his position so many times in the fight. I watched his body language, then control his mind, then control his actions so many times. And I was just so impressed with this from a competitive standpoint, how he could put everything that's like it never happened, not worry about just what's right now. So they go out, and I mean, I have to mention for you, this thing did end in a little bit of controversy. I mean, Colby certainly didn't agree with the stoppage. I've seen a lot of mixed martial arts fights, and I've seen that position. Colby's down like on a double where he's a little sprawled out. Kamaru's doing a good job at the hips, and he's finding the target a little bit, but Colby's blocking. I've just seen that position. That's a fair statement by me, and I have never seen a mixed martial arts contest end in that position. That's a true statement by me. So, when they pulled him apart, Colby jumped up and he wasn't happy about it. And, I don't know how much time was left. There must have been right around that 60-second point. And it's all done, but I guess the reason I mention the controversy is it is very clear that Kamaru Usman is the best fighter in the world. It is as equally clear that Colby Covington is the number one contender. I mean, this was a dog fight to the highest of levels where things did start to unravel, but you had an athlete in Colby who was trying to come back. You had a referee who did a very good job. He was making a decision in fighter safety, but there was enough there that if somebody says, hey, we want to see 5 more rounds of that, whether it's immediately next or something has to happen in between, yeah, you're going to have a hell of a story that was told. You're going to have a hell of a highlight reel to look back on. And when you do look at Kamaru, and you look at the question of what's next, there's some good options. George Masvidal's phone deserves to ring. Leon Edwards and Tyron Woodley's always, you got a lot of good options out there. But if you were look to run it back and look at Colby Covington and just do that one more time, that too is a good option.